What do you reckon there, JT? I mean, 'cause is that going to be another good game, or?
Yeah, it's fairly balanced in terms of their makeup.
Right.
I watched the last one, Keith. I'm trying to be serious, mate. It's a serious sports show. One of the most serious sports shows in Gisborne.
And there aren't too many.
Yep. A team that's promised so much, as they always do, below par. I think it sucks. You're right, mate. Do you take a break or?
Okay, excellent stuff. Right, let's move on with rugby now, because there was some good rugby played, but it was a bit of a shock though last weekend seeing the Crusaders with a draw against the Stormers last weekend. There, Rino.
Yeah, it was actually. And Storm was lucky to get them at the end there to come back through. Obviously, the Crusaders, everyone thought they were going to whitewash the Stormers. I remember talking last Saturday, I thought I'll be an upset here because always one of the top teams, mate, heading into the business and gets toppled over. I know they got the Blues down there at home. There's a possibility of a upset there as well. Blues got nothing to lose. Crusaders do. No Cody Taylor, been ruled out obviously, so they've lost a couple of players in the Crusaders, and with the turmoil of what's been going on behind the scenes after arriving back from South Africa, who knows that they'll play on their mind. So this will be the chance for Leon McDonald and his Blues team to maybe topple over the much favoured team tonight, but we'll see what happens. Crusaders are home, be a big crowd down there, and I don't know who's going to win here. I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't be shy saying the Blues with an upset.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would be a bit of a surprise, certainly for me. That is for sure. But, yeah, even with I mean, it was a bit of a shock to see that the Crusaders did notch up a draw, but still, they weren't beaten, though, were they? So,
Nah, but anything's possible. It's at that time of that season. Every year, consistently, the Super Rugby pulls out something out of the bag. And that's just how it rolls, you know. The top teams, look at what happened to the Hurricanes.
Yes, of course.
You know, so it does happen, and it always happens at this time of the year, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just pretty open-minded about the Crusaders and Blues.
True.
I know the last game was very close, so it'll be interesting.
Yep, and it was a home game for the Hurricanes too, you know. So well done to the Jaguares. Like I said, I think last weekend, boy, they thoroughly deserved that win, the Jaguares. Now, your Cheifs, they had a win against the Reds last night. Still, it wasn't that great a game, I don't think, anyway. What do you reckon there, Raa?
Yeah, well, after listening to Sammy and some of the boys and the Chiefs, some of their comments, they were saying mathematically, if they win the next couple of games, they may have a chance of, making some sort of playoffs. But, you know, they've only made it hard for themselves all season. And, for me personally, it's kind of pointless saying that, you know, they're throwing the equations of mathematically this and mathematically that, because at the end of the day, they should have started from day dot and, you know, played their hearts out, and they wouldn't be in this predicament of trying to sort of, do it the hard way. But in saying that, we've seen, miracles before in rugby. So mathematically, all going well, the next few games, they may get a foot in the door, but it's up to the fortunes of the other teams. And, you know, at this time of the season, every side's just going to go out and sort of, you know, give it their all and try and secure a win. But, no, I hope my Chiefs can secure another victory. It'll be good for their fans, if nothing else.
I'll tell you what, both teams really have been having a rubbish season. I mean, the Chiefs, this has got to be one of their worst seasons. Currently, though, the Blues are sitting behind them because the Chiefs, obviously, the win against the Reds, what that has done is that's put them just above the Blues. I think the Blues pretty much are gone. The Reds, though, they've been having even a worse season because they're an Aussie team. So,
look, Keith, that's where the Blues can be quite dangerous when they've got nothing to lose. I mean, you know, the players are going to try and sort of come out and and the remaining games they've got, try and secure some victories, not because of their standing on the tables, but just to see themselves into next season. It's always good to go out with a bit of a bang, and as we know, they're up against probably the favourites for this year's competition, the Crusaders, this weekend. So, and given the Crusaders draw last weekend, it's going to be one of those double-edged swords. Either they're going to take it out on the Blues, or they're still going to succumb to that controversy around Georgia and some of the boys when they were over in South Africa, and the Blues under Leon Arangi McDonald. They have showed glimpses of a quality side throughout the season. Albeit, they would have liked to have played a lot better, but there's some real classy young players in that side, and as I say, they've got nothing to lose, so they're going to come out with both barrels ablazing.
Yeah, I mean, it has come out, though, hasn't it, Rino, that, there was some, I guess some naughty things said over the weekend after their particular game last week against the Stormers. Have you been keeping up with that at all there, Rino?
Yeah, two names, Richie Mo'unga and George Bridge, the two names I've spoken about. I know Richie has apologised for what he may have done because he was so intoxicated he can't remember. Not too sure on the details of George Bridge at this stage, but there's all this homophobic stuff and everything that's come out. The South Africans are known for this type of stuff to release it. They go to social media, but no one's really seen the evidence of the CCTV footage. So it's got Scotty Robinson says, it's just... he say at this stage what he's saying, but he's going to concentrate on the team because the game is where it's all lying for him. The two boys are playing tonight, so he's got to concentrate and make sure he supports his team and does what he does. Will something come out from it? We'll have to wait and see because there is an independent investigation on this as well because obviously it's kind of marred the Crusaders. I tell you what, the Crusaders get through tonight, and if they do hammer the Blues, it'll be all forgotten about, mate.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. Which should be a good game there, Raa? The Blues and the Crusaders?
Yeah, well, Warren hit the nail on the head. I mean, if all these, this little bit of controversy that happened over there doesn't sort of, sink into the Red and Blacks, they're going to come out and probably, do the damage on the Blues and hammer them. But, for our local lad, Georgie Bridge, he's having a stellar season and, there's big reps for him for the future. So he's hoping it doesn't sort of get in the way of his, of his rise to the top of rugby. And, let's hope that, the boys get on with doing the job at hand. And as much as I kind of hate to say, the Crusaders, I'm going to put my money on the Blues, Keithy. I want them to cause some upsets and just to make it harder for the Red and Blacks, who I believe, and I'd even probably put $50 on it, not that I gamble, but that they're going to go and take out this year's Super Rugby competition.
So you want the Blues to win, but you'll put $50.
To win, There's nothing else, just for the balance of the game. I mean, the expectation is, Ren's team, Canterbury, they're going to come out and sort of do the damage on the Auckland side, but it would be good just to feel a bit of the Warriors, sane and keep the faith and hopefully, as I made mention, if the Blues can sort of switch on and turn on a big game, man, they can pull it out of the hat. But like the Warriors, and like we've said so many times about some teams, it's all about, consistency and performing. And, it must be an Auckland thing in the water there because they don't tend to do
it's an Auckland thing. Yes, It's definitely an Auckland thing. I think we all know that it's an Auckland thing. Absolutely, when you're concerning both the league and also the rugby franchises. I think JT would be right in saying that the Auckland Blues team probably needs to have a good balance in their side, and one that probably isn't quite there. Would you say, Raa? Not for the Blues.
Well, yeah, in fact, with JT's concerned, I'm trying to think of a league team equivalent to the Blues. And the only side I can really think of is the Warriors.
Yes, yes.
So, and JT, I think anybody would. That's definitely an Auckland thing. But in saying that, we've seen once they can get their act together, man, they're unstoppable. But it's getting to that stage, and they haven't been there in a while.
JT, you were about to make one of your knowledgeable comments, I believe.
It sounds like there's too many head in Auckland, or I don't know.
There could be.
When you score a try, these fellas, you know who we're talking about. They like to play it up and blow a kiss down their camera and look at me. And I was watching the game last night, and they showed a couple of the guys that did score tries at the Newcastle game, and the camera gets right in their face. There's no, playing up to the camera. Just walk back to your teammates and blah, blah, blah. So these fellas, I think that's why the breathing thing is a good thing for the Warriors, because if they do score, they've got to hurry up and get back in their huddle and practice their breathing, which makes them breathers, I guess.
Fair enough there, JT. Reno, of course, they're up against your team, aren't they? The Blues. How do you reckon that's going to go?
Bro, it's a balanced team. That's like the Melbourne Storm.
Very
They're a
much
beaten,
so.
unbalanced team.
Yes.
So that's how I'll lean it on that note. The balanced team realistically should win. And I put them very similar to Melbourne Storm, like JT said, very, very similar across the paddock. The other unbalanced team, they don't work it out, mate. They won't win. I'd like to see Severus have a good game up against Rico.
Yes.
I'd love to see Severus, as short as he is, put that big shoulder into their little smart ass. He's a show pony.
Yes, he is.
And I can't stand them. And exactly what JT said with some of the NRL last night, back into their team and see huddles or whatnot, but they go back to their team and, where some of these guys up there, and more so the Blues, show ponies.
Yes, I agree. Have been for years. Probably
exactly.
Have been for years. Probably the reason why they haven't been winning so much. Maybe it's because of the balance of their team. I don't know. Anyway, we've got the Highlanders, of course. The Highlanders, they've got the Stormers, who had a draw, who notched up a draw last week against the Crusaders there. How do you reckon your Highlanders will go, eh?
Yeah, well, I think they're in a pretty similar precarious position as well. The men from down south, it's all about sort of, taking as much scalps as they can as we head to the business end of the season. And, it's not for want of talent in the team. There's some really good players who will definitely make the step up to All Black contention as they prepare for the World Cup. But for the immediate future in terms of the Super Rugby competition, they've just got to try and take as much as they can from each game. And, up against the Stormers team, I think it's going to be quite a big challenge. But I think the Boys have done it before. But it's like anything, don't under-expect that the South African side's going to sort of lie down and sort of give up a game. That they're going to come out with both their throttles full steam ahead. So I think it's going to be a great match, Kizzy, because as we've seen both teams, they play some enterprising style of rugby, and they're not afraid to throw the ball around, which is why we all sort of tend to like watching these games, and in particular certain teams who actually make it worthwhile sort of fronting up and watching their style of play. So, the boys from down under, he's hoping they can notch up another victory.
Well, it's interesting, because I'll be honest, the Stormers are at the bottom of the South African conference table. They're completely out of it. There's no way I don't think there's a way that they'll be able to make it into the playoffs. Highlanders, every chance of making it. In fact, I'm not saying that they're there yet, but certainly...
The team's most dangerous, Keithy, is when, they're pretty much ruled out and then they've got nothing to lose. I mean, the equation is simple. It's one of two things. Either going to get a heck of a hammering from the South Islanders, or they're going to cause an upset victory, and, you can never... take that away from the South African team anyway, because we know they can produce the goods. They love rugby. They'll die for the code, and the Stormers, there's some classic players in there. So I wouldn't just sort of write them off yet. Well,
it could be another draw. So
watch the space, Keith.
Yes. The Highlanders, though, certainly, I think they're well in contention. They're well in contention to certainly make the playoffs. I think it'll be very difficult for them not to. What do you reckon there, Reno?
Yeah, Highlanders, mate, and I hope the Highlanders really slam them. Give it to them, come on with a big victory. I'll tell you why, because at the end of the year, if we can get them mentally in their head, these New Zealand teams are playing well, because that's the kind of team we're going to bring to the World Cup in a few months' time. So I'm hoping the Highlanders really put them to the sword and bring it home. I'm hoping for at least 50 points on